What's up guys, welcome to a new video, and this video is an add-on to the previous video where I did a walk through the city of Winchester on a nice sunny day with my iPhone 12 Pro Max to kind of get an idea of the types of photos you could take if you get a little bit creative. I've since edited those photos, and part of that process was in the last video that I filmed. So if you want to check that out, it'll be in the description below, and you can also find that on my channel. But I actually did a bit of explaining as to why I made the selections I made and why I made certain edits as well to the photos. And I thought it would be valuable for you guys to put it into a longer form video. So in this video, I'm going to go through the whole process of selecting my images and editing them and why I make the decisions I make. It's 30 minutes long, so it's a bit of a long one. Maybe put it on in the background or just sit down and learn my process. I'm definitely not the best at it. I just do it mostly because I enjoy it. So take it for what it is. Don't expect the most pro thing, but I'm sure you'll definitely get some insight and learn some things as well. All right, well, enjoy the video. I actually want to crop this in a bit. And this is where the iPhone falls down quite a bit, because in order to crop, you're going to end up getting, you're going to be able to see the downfalls of having that tiny sensor and only 12 megapixels with the iPhone 12 Pro Max. This isn't interesting. That one's maybe a bit more interesting because he's expressing himself a bit more. Just going to cull through these. That's not particularly interesting. And what I'm realizing by going through these is actually many of these are not as interesting as I first thought they were. Which is fine, you kind of see that. You got to take the picture kind of first. You can delete it, that's the beauty of digital photography. Some people think it's cheating. Sometimes I try and pull up the shadows to see what I can get. It's really not working that great. I thought this was a cool image because the OAPs kind of lined up. I think there's something in there as well. And often what I'll do as well is I'll use some of these presets to get an idea of the feel of the image and how I might want it to be. And I actually quite like this. I think if I added more contrast to it, it could look pretty cool. So we'll go for that preset, and then I actually want to bring it up a little bit. With a bit more contrast. I think I want to give this more grain as well to make it look older. Yeah, it's alright. I think what this could definitely do with is some guiding the eye somewhere, because the eye doesn't really know where to look. And I think I kind of want the image to go guide the viewer this way. Unfortunately, there's not really a subject here other than this. So you could say, in a way, it's kind of not a great image. So maybe the eye should be guided there. Let's, I'm going to add a mask to try and do that. And I'm going to add a gradient mask. What I'll do is I'll bring the shadows down a bit, bring the exposure down a bit. Also, I'll bring some of the sharpness down and the clarity. I'm going to expand that a little bit so it blends a bit better. And I'm going to bring it further in here. Not sure. Maybe it needs to be a bit more from here. Also, there's too much in focus, so I'm going to go to create another linear gradient, and I'm going to really bring the texture down, bring the sharpness down, kind of fake a bit of a shallow depth of field. And I might do it for the back as well. That would be a little bit more natural. If you're going to have a lot of shallow depth of field at the front, you probably are at the back as well. So I'm going to reduce the sharpness here. And that kind of puts the focus here. Another way to do that would have been to just add a radial blur, but if you think about how an actual lens works, it's on a plane, so everything on this plane would be in focus and everything before, and behind it would also be out of focus if you had a wide aperture. So I don't know, I think that's what I can do here. Might give that 2 stars. It's kind of an architectural thing. I'm gonna maybe straighten it a little bit and do some auto geometry, I think, for this. And I'm also going to change the crop to 16:9. Honestly, there's not really much interesting happening here. Maybe you can make it a bit more interesting with some presets, but my internet looks like it's gone, so I don't think that's going to be an option. I don't really like the look of that. I've been definitely bringing the saturation down a lot with my iPhone images. I'm just testing things right now just to see, just messing around. Nothing is permanent, and also you can save looks as well, so if you don't like it a certain way, you can always save a look and change it. So maybe add a vignette. Adding a vignette also can make things look a little bit better. So that's what it looked like. This is what it looked like before. This is what it looks like now. Not the greatest. Definitely, as they say, not going to win any awards for that one. But I like this one. I think this is much more interesting, and it just needs a bit of fixing in terms of geometry. And if you use auto, what it will do is it will kind of put it more on a even plane and correct it a little bit. Sometimes it works out well, sometimes it doesn't. I actually quite like the sky coming through here. I like the water. I often try and bring the shadows up first, just to kind of get an idea of what I might not be seeing. And I feel like the bricks could do with a bit more clarity, maybe. So I'm going to add a bit of clarity here. I'm going to see. I wonder what that would look like without the house. If you could Photoshop out the house and put a sky in there, that could be interesting. But I think what I want to do is I want to maybe add some clarity but darken that water a bit. I'm going to use a mask to do that. Add a bit of a linear gradient. Bring the exposure down. Maybe dehaze, that adds a bit of contrast and darkness. I like that. And then I think I want to add a bit more vibrance to the sky. You can actually use it to auto detect the sky, which is kind of cool. Add a bit more. Add a bit of dehaze. Maybe I don't like the deer. Maybe it looks better with a slightly desaturated look. I can always press this key here to get an idea of the before and the after. And honestly, right now, I think I'm pretty happy with the way that looks. Might add a bit of a vignette to it. Also, I wonder what it looks like black. Wow, in that format, it doesn't look very good. Alright, I'm going to leave it at that. I'm going to move on. Since this one was pretty good, I'm going to get rid of this one. Don't need that. Don't need that. I think I want that. That's an interesting one. I like that one. Let's see what auto does with it. And I think it's just down to your own personal preferences, whether you want to use auto settings on these things or not. I don't think it, for me personally, it doesn't really matter. I think that the images that I really like, I want to edit meticulously. Then there are other images that I think are pretty cool compositionally or have some features that or elements that I like, and I'm happy to just let them go with a bit of a preset or something basic. And sometimes I'll just do it temporarily, you know. That was it before, this was it now. I'm not sure how much I might want to make that a bit cooler. Yeah, that'll do. I can let it too. Quite like this one. I kind of feel like that's just like a nice little shot as it is. Auto will enhance it a bit. Bring some shadows out. Nice sunny day in Winchester. I'll maybe add a bit of a linear gradient to the bottom of this just to bring the focus up a little bit. I think that's good. Make it a bit of a vignette. That's a bit. I'm not going to ask. That's why. Ah, that'll do. That's a 2. No. I kind of think that's interesting. It's an interesting one when you're photographing people and dealing with subjects, because everybody has their different interpretation of what is appropriate, their limits of how much you should, whether you should be able to take pictures of people, whether you shouldn't take pictures of people, whether it does them justice, whether it makes them look silly or not. And I kind of skirt the line of like, I don't want to make anyone look stupid, because we all have moments where we're like screwing our face up or something like that. But there was a reason why I took a photo of these two. I thought they had a bit of character, the way they were dressed and stuff like that. So I don't really feel like it's making fun of people per se. It's not my intention, at least. So with the mask, you can also mask out people, and it kind of got it wrong a little bit here. I'm not really that worried about it right now. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to try and separate them a little bit. So I'm going to bring, well, this mask is for them, so anything I do with that will affect them, but you can actually invert and duplicate this mask. So that's what I'm going to do here, and I'm going to bring the shadows down a bit, maybe. About the highlights. Maybe remove some sharpness. Sort of focusing on them a bit more. You can also desaturate things a bit, maybe. That could be interesting. And then I'm just going to add a bit of a, yeah, I'm not really sure actually. Not sure what to do with this. I'm going to give it a 1. Oh. I don't like this image at all. I thought that was cool at the time, but not really a fan. Nope. 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 Bit far away. No. So this one, I like the buildings. Quite like the subject here. It's going to require a lot of work. It's quite hazy and yeah, it lacks a lot of, yeah, it's very muddy. The colors are very muddy. You can tell that this has really pushed the camera quite a bit. So let's see what we can do with it. Immediately we can get rid of a lot of this with just desaturating the image. It's a good little cheat, and it actually makes the image more pleasant to look at. Obviously, still, they're not very well defined in here, but buildings are. So the next question is, where do we go from here? There's a big lens flare. Maybe we can do something with that. Whilst I'm doing this, I'm also looking at the histogram. Show the whitest whites and the darkest darks. If you really blow out the sky, most of the image kind of goes to the side. And it actually looks kind of cool like that. No, there might be something there. Actually, that's quite interesting. The overexposed, blown out look. I actually quite like that. Then I guess, I wonder what you could do with the sky. Just text the sky. Let's see if I did bring. Whoa, oh, that's kind of interesting. So you can still, by masking, pull back a lot of the detail in the sky. Give it like quite a surreal look. I like the idea of that. And the way I look at photography is just, man, it's just kind of like art, you know? It's like interpretation. There's, of course, the correct way of doing things, but and I think, you know, if you like it, you like it, you know. I think that's a pretty cool image. I'm actually going to give that a 3. It's interesting, you can see with the zoomed in lens how different quality is. Not really a fan of that. Wonder what happens if we desaturate it. Immediately, as soon as you desaturate something, it looks much better. All right, well, this turned from an image that I was going to throw away into something that could be pretty decent. And I love adding grain to stuff. Still adding a bit of details to some clarity. Okay, let's speed this process up a bit. I really like this image because of the shapes and the textures here. Bring shadows up, and I'm going to bring some of the black down. Add some texture to it. Give some vignetting to the image. It's interesting. I might actually bring the whole exposure down there. Actually, I'm gonna create a bit of a draw the viewer's eye in a little bit by bringing some shadows into here. What the new gradient? Okay, that's much better. Okay, I'll leave that at 3. I don't think I want to really mess with that. Okay, this isn't too warped to make a decent image in my opinion. This could be nice because of the symmetry. I'm going to go to auto. Bam! Did most of my work for me. I'm going to put this doorway in the middle. Looks cool. Check again. No. So I think I might just make this look a little bit aged. Do I want it to be black and white as well? I think so. Nope. 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 Ah, here you go. Thought these were cool. I want to give this an old school look, and I'm actually going to go preset. Let's see what we can get here. Oh, it's interesting. Oh, if that was brought. I like that one. I like that one. Okay, I'm going to start with this one here. And then I'm going to, I'll make a little bit, look a little bit more old school. Give it a bit of grain. Going to mess around with the curves a little bit. And then I might also do a bit of masking as well. Just some mask up here. Sometimes if you're masking and you bring the exposure down, it's a bit much, so it's sometimes nice to mess with the shadows instead. The question is, do you center this with the crop? Not sure. Okay, I'm going to leave it like that. Give that a 3-star. I'm also going to add a. I'm going to copy these settings. I'm going to paste them on here. There you go. I wonder what they look like on here. Ah, this is cool. Okay. We got a series of images now. That kind of looks similar. They all fit together. Oh, I like that look. Alright, I'm going to go with this little thing that we're doing here. I quite like those. Chalk. It looks good. What about if I can brighten the subject up a bit? Those. What geometry here? This is interesting because you have all of these different curves. I'm wondering if you could add some, like really bring some shadows in here. And here. Okay. I really like this look. It's cool. Sometimes it also highlights some of the features, you know, like I didn't really notice initially that bit of light there, but and where are we? Okay, so we're almost there. Definitely I'm gonna bring this up a little bit. I'm gonna warm it up a bit as well. I'm going to yeah. Let's continue our little theme. Just a gap phone. Very interesting. I'm gonna go for this one. Let's paste those settings there. Oh, it's cool. Very cool. Here. So I really want to emphasize, I want to bring those highlights up over. Shut this down. Yeah, there you go. That looks cool. So that was my process on how I kind of go through and select and edit some of my photos, a bit of an insight into my mind with photography. I hope you gained something valuable from that. If you want to see the full images, you can see them on my website. I'll link that down in the description below, and you can kind of see them all as they're edited and displayed nicely. I'm curious, would you guys be interested in any photo books or anything like that? Maybe I could give some tips how I edited some of the photos in a book form. Let me know if that's something that's interesting to you. Thanks for watching this video, and I'll catch you guys in the next one.